Gwen,
Yes.
we're going to talk about WTCS Cagliari.
Yep.
You asked your followers on Instagram yesterday for some questions,
That's right.
and so we might just go through, some of these as we see, and we're gonna kind of move around. I don't think they're gonna be in order just as we read them, but I think hopefully we'll try and cover everything in this process.
All right.
How does that sound?
Perfect.
Okay. Did you at all enjoy Cagliari?
No.
There could
Not,
be the city, could be the whole anything.
I really tried to enjoy it. And I think, the first day there, I got stuck in this really bad thunderstorm, floods, and then our family got sick. George got sick. You got sick. Stanley got sick. My mom got sick. I got bit by a dog. It just felt like every day there was something that was kind of like happening. And I remember there were points throughout days where I was like, oh, this is really beautiful. I'm a water person. And so like the ocean, I was like, this is so gorgeous. But for some reason, I just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm tainted from the race, but I feel like I did not enjoy my time there.
Okay, let's get to the race. Somebody wrote, I think the start of the swimming part was the big problem. Why?
I think the big problem was my head, but the entire race, even if I had the worst start ever, you can look at like Alex E, and he had he fell, he was dead last, and he still came back from that. And like I could have had the worst start ever as well. I had a bad start. I could have had an even worse start, and I should have still not been dead last coming out of the water. That's not my fitness level physically. So yes, that probably played maybe 1% part of the race, but it was basically I had a big mental mishap that day and messed up, and that's what we got.
And how do you deal with the disappointment?
This race, I think if anybody knows me, if you know me at all, if you've seen my training even one day, like if you looked at my past results, even this year, you'd see what happened on race day, which was I was dead last out of the water, got lapped out on the bike, and you would know that that is not my best physically. It's very apparent that is just not where I'm at. So I think, in that sense, it gave me it was almost a little bit better because I was like, okay, well, this is apparent that is not my best. But yeah, it was really hard. I've had a lot of tough, challenging conversations with my psychologist since then. And, I've just been working on, what went wrong and how can we hopefully make some adjustments so that doesn't happen again.
Is your fire still burning?
It is. It was not the race morning of Cagliari, but it definitely is still burning. I finished the race and I talked to you, Pat, I think very quickly before I even processed the race. I was like, I want to just, start doing some World Cups. I need to, there was all these things in my head of how I can make adjustments going forward. And so, yes, the fire is still there.
Little off topic, but it's relevant. Are you doing any Colorado races?
Oh, I'm doing one tonight. Funny, yes. Yeah, I'm doing a little, it's called Stroke and Stride. It's a little aquathon tonight. And then, I do local bike races when they're available. And yeah, I kind of look on the running circuit and see if there's any local running races coming out.
There you go. What's the biggest thing you learned from Cagliari?
The biggest thing I think I learned from Cagliari is that I've been ignoring some issues, some mom guilt that I've had, especially since having George, and I need to work on that, and I need to make sure I, as a person, am doing well in order to get the best out of myself competing.
What race is next for you?
well, I'm doing the aquathon tonight, but besides that, the next triathlon is Tuco World Cup, which I'm super excited to go to. I think the World Cup level is a good level for me right now to race at. And yeah, I'm excited because it's my sister's actually coming, and I haven't seen her in a little bit, so it'll be fun to go there. And I went there. I've raced there before, but when they had the hill, they don't have the hill anymore in it.
All right, and then give us some insight into, you know, other people. What can they, you know, dealing with disappointment, right? I had just an okay short track race last night, and I was disappointed about it.
But it's also not your life and your career.
Right. But I think, you know, there's lessons that can be brought over. So what advice would you give to somebody that, you know, they're training super hard for something and it doesn't go as planned?
We all have disappointments in every area of our life, sports and not sports. You know, I was actually, after this race, I was thinking about like NASA and when they do rocket launches, and like everyone in the world watches, and they prepare and they test and they modify things to make sure that the launch is going to be successful, and sometimes it's not, and the entire world is watching, and you know, they don't just give up and say we're never going to go to space again. It's, you know, looking at it and seeing what can we modify, what went wrong, how can we change, and you know, I think sometimes there are no answers, but usually there is something going on that you can pinpoint and modify and move forward. I think it's also really important to look back on what you've done in preparation for what you're doing. So Pat, your short track race, you know, you told me I think I could ride every day this week and next week be 5 places higher. Like, so you looked back and you said, well, I haven't been training, so let's just add in some training. And I think there's always you always say success leaves clues. Well, so does failure, I think. So you can kind of look at what you've been doing in preparation. And for me, I know that I don't need to make any big changes in my training physically. I know that I've put in the work. I know where I'm at physically, and I'm excited to keep going and give it another shot. I would not quit after a race like that. I think it's very important. It's a very important lesson to, you know, I think it'd be easy to just say, I'm done. That's it. It was horrible. But, you know, I think I need to continue until I have a race that I know is my potential.
Beautiful. I think that's a great recap. And, you know, I think what's fun for me to observe is you do really seem to enjoy training, and you do seem to enjoy racing, even though, you know, sometimes they don't always go your way. But I think it's really fun to see the joy that is just brought to you from, you know, I don't want to say making this part of your lifestyle, but it's just like this. The reality is it's a lifestyle, and I've had a lot of friends that have found joy in that, particularly in bike racing, right? But that's I think you're in a beautiful place with respect to that.
Yeah, I do really enjoy it. I just I need to figure everything out, and I think as well, even since we've been back home, I've just been so much more happy. It has helped that George is feeling better and he's back to his normal self. But yeah, it's I'm really excited for the next races, and you know, I think it was a horrible race. There's no excuses, and that was that, and I'm not gonna dwell over it. Sayonara. Peace.